Hello and welcome to a very special return of the Arn and Eddie experience.
We're
I don't
back.
feel, I know, I don't feel like we
Someone's
need
called
to
the police
introduce.
already.
The police have already been called about our return. Um, as always, I'm Eddie Cyburns. Joining with me is Arn Furious to take in the first weekend of the English League. The Scottish League's already been going for a wee while, but football's
Yeah,
apparently back. Oh,
I was still kind of on me holly bobs a little bit, so
yeah.
I haven't been anywhere. I've just been having a break.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last time you were planning on going on holiday was Sweden.
Yeah, I did not go according to plan.
Yeah,
Mike brought me a
no.
shirt back from Stockholm, but my flight was cancelled at 4 hours' notice. Which, yeah, thanks for that, Eurowings.
Yep, we're gonna try and do this one without too much swearing. We'll see how it goes. Right, so we're gonna cover the games that happened over the course of the weekend. We're gonna talk about Everton.
Yes,
And we're
we're
gonna
going to talk
talk
about
about
Dundee United as well. We're going to talk about our teams.
yes, we're gonna
And
talk about our teams and how they're doing. Um, but first, I think I'm gonna begrudgingly lead this to you. Um, Football apparently came home. Yeah. Ugh.
so at the start of the tournament, um, like I was thinking, like, oh, this is such a positive thing. Like, well, women's football, yeah, it's great. And then I messaged Eddie about it. He goes, "Oh, I hate the Lionesses." I was like, "Wow."
I hate. I just don't like them. It's not like don't get me wrong. Like I love women's football, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. I'm just starting to try and go and see some more women's football, but I don't know what it is. I think it's just any England team just gives me the absolute bulk of I do not like you whatsoever. You come across as a bit arrogant and a bit
Well, I
pompous, I
think
guess.
they kind of had every right to be arrogant by the end of the tournament because they'd smashed it.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I mean, don't
I
get me
mean, that
wrong.
is the best like England team performance that over the course of a tournament that I've ever seen.
Mm,
They were absolutely outstanding. I got
yeah.
to go to the opener, so I went to Old Trafford for the opening game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cracking atmosphere. I hate Mexican waves because they are incredibly disrespectful to the players. Because like you're saying, like we are so bored with watching this that we're going to go like throw our arms in the air, and then everyone's watching the crowd and not the game, and that's just not that doesn't sit right with me. So
uh, Not a very good feeling with you then, them Mexican waves.
no, I hate Mexican waves, but yeah, it was a good tournament. There were decent crowds. They were pretty lively at the games I went to. I know there's a couple of people saying watching on TV they couldn't hear anything. It sounded like there was nothing going on in the stadiums. But I
Hmm.
was at Finland and Spain in the middle of the Finland supporters, and they were nuts.
Hmm.
I was in with the Denmark supporters when they played Spain, and they were even worse or better, depending on how you look at it. They kept singing the national anthem and like they got the megaphones and everything. So yeah, no, it was a great experience. 87,000 people at the final. It was great. It was a great time. I'm not going
Yeah.
to say like, oh, and England won because I think it doesn't matter who won that tournament. It was going to be good for women's football in
Yeah.
general, just because of the way the tournament had been received in England, which is it's a big footballing market, and like if something works in England, it tends to get picked up in other countries. It's like we're like a because of the success of the Premier League, it
Mm.
just feels like something works here, and everyone else goes, "Well, let's give that a go." So I'm hoping that European football for the women's side gets a bit of a pickup over the next 10 years and gets to a better standard.
I think it worked. I think ever since the women's Premier League has been around on Sky, and I think the fact that these companies are trying to put a little bit more money into it
Yeah,
has kind of helped. I mean, I went to go see the first opening game of the women's Premier League up here in Scotland, and we'll go into that in a little bit of detail. But it was good. It is when these kind of games get money put behind them and they rebrand and they attract these players. Like obviously you had the American influence when they came over to the women's Premier League, where it was likes of Alex Morgan and Rose Lavelle and Sam Ewis and these players, and you got I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to watch and see, because I think that American women's national team is quite possibly one of the best teams going at the moment. Just by their performances and just by how dominant that team is. So yeah, when you have that, and obviously when the World Cup was on, it had a lot of eyes on it as well.
Hmm.
Especially when you had America versus England in I think it was the semi-finals.
I can't remember.
Um,
It was well into the knockouts, wasn't it? So it would have
it
been
was
the quarters
yeah,
or semis. I can't remember.
it was one of them, and it was quite exciting. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's good. It's good to see the game getting
Yeah,
more
it was
development.
a good tournament. Like, it was a really enjoyable tournament, and it kind of exposed the countries in Europe that don't put any money into the women's game compared to the ones that do. So, like,
Hmm.
England had a good tournament, France had a good tournament, but then you look at Italy, and the difference between the Italian men's national team and the women's national team is quite shocking.
Yeah.
And there needs to be more investment there in Italy, and there are other countries that have not really covered themselves in glory with the development of the women's game.
I think the Serie A women's league has seemed to be taking a lot more of interest now.
Oh,
I
good.
think there's a lot more players who are looking to go there, and kind of ply their trade in that league. You had Lana Cleland, who currently plays for Sassuolo. She went from Rangers to Spartans, and then her career's kind of suddenly taken off in Serie A. And again, it's kind of like anyone can really win it. Juventus obviously, I think, stepped up in gear and won it this year. But there is that. There is. I think Enolia Aluko was playing there not that long ago. So it's definitely taken up. It's gonna take up time. Juventus didn't win it this year.
It,
My
it,
apologies. It
it did
was
feel like they were
Juventus.
kind of lagging
Yeah.
behind a little bit. But yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, the success of the tournament is the important thing. It's going to lead to more countries getting involved. It's going to lead to a better quality of league, and it's going to
Mm.
lead to more fans going to the games. So the Arsenal, I think their season opener is Tottenham, or it's the second week of the season. It's really early in the season, and they've sold like 16,000 tickets already for that. So
Yeah.
that's proper, isn't it? Like, get them attendances up, get the people in to see the game, and they'll see that it is a really good standard of play in the WSL. So
Yeah.
that and other European leagues, it's a chance for people to get really into women's football.
Yeah, I mean, I paid £8 for a ticket to go see Glasgow City FC against Spartans. And they ended up Glasgow City winning 7-0. Glasgow City do have quite a compared to if you were to compare Glasgow City to Spartans, Glasgow City very much are a team that is strong. They're in the Women's Champions League. They do have quite a lot, whereas Spartans are more kind of trying to go on youth and kind of build up the Scottish talent in terms of that. Both of them have Glasgow City have a Polish international and a player from Turkey coming on and stuff like that. And you can tell the difference in quality, but they've got quite possibly like they've signed a legend quite recently. In terms of that, from I think she was from Ecuador or somewhere like that. But they've signed someone quite recently who I think is going to put like a lot more eyes on the game and on the kind of football on the Scottish League, because there's been a lot of development, a lot of rebranding, obviously with it at the moment in time, which I think is great.
How is the standard
Um,
in the Scottish League?
it's quite good. I mean, Glasgow City have been dominant for quite some time. It's a Mexican player. Her name's Desiree Monsiavis. She scored like 102 goals in 126 appearances for Monterrey. That's the name. She's known as kind of quite a legend in that area. It's quite good. It used to be, as I said, heavily on the Glasgow City side. They were quite dominant for quite some time, and I think recently now has the likes of Rangers and Celtic and the like have decided to put money into it, and now they are trying to obviously, try and gain that. I mean, Rangers won their first title last season. Glasgow City have won it 15 times. So,
catching up to do then.
There's a lot of catching up. I mean, I said from the year 2007, 08 to the year 2020 to 2021 seasons, Glasgow City won the league. There was it's just a dominance. And Rangers and Celtic and Hibs are all now trying to play catch up. The Scotland women's national team is a good team. There are players that come from the SWPFL.
Didn't make it into the Euros though.
No, but then again, it's Scotland where we're not surprised. We were baby faces and we let Ukraine beat us, so they could then go on to lose to Wales, the heels. So everything all plays out in the way it should be. But yeah, I mean, as I said, there are good players in that league. Scottish players go down and they do quite well. They ply their trade down in the English Premier League, and you had Claire Emsley, who's went off to be in the MLS, not the MLS, well, the women's version of that. So yeah, I mean, as I said, I enjoyed it. It was £8 for a ticket. There were about 215 people there. I saw 7 goals get scored. It was quite, it was quite a good experience in terms of that. So yeah.
A lot of the lads who say they don't like watching women's football, their main criticism seems to be that it's not as fast paced. But I'm like, well, neither is Bromsgrove Sporting. But that's not why I go to the non-league games. It's like I just want to be entertained.
Yeah,
and I am entertained by women's games, by non-league football. It's like if it's entertaining, it's good. I don't care what.
Yeah, I mean, there were 7. I mean, if you look, I showed you the opening scores for the season, and there was a game where there was I think Rangers won 14-0 in one game, and Glasgow City won 7-0 in the game I went to. But don't get me wrong, the goals were great, and it was just, again, it's that quality, it's that difference in quality that's always going to settle it. But as the season goes closer, it's a 3-horse race. It's not just 2 horses. It's a 3-horse race really between Glasgow, Rangers, and Hibs. And Celtic, even, sorry.
Yeah, we'll come to 2-horse races in Scotland in a
yeah. But yeah, Scottish. As I said, I think the future for women's football at the moment seems very, very bright, which is quite good. But we move on from women's Euros. We didn't even talk that much about England winning. Thank God for that. The opening day of the season happened.
I don't need to, mate.
I know. Well, at least it wasn't your men, because Kevin knows we'd never hear the end of it. Arsenal versus Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
I watched this. I think you watched this as well.
I watched this. I was in. I checked this out. I was at Arsenal week before the season started, watching them play Sevilla, and they absolutely battered Sevilla.
Yes.
But that was a Sevilla team that was in pre-season. They weren't exactly pressing the Arsenal team when they're on the ball. So when the ball was in midfield for Arsenal, there was he shall not be named was on the ball a lot, Xhaka as well. And they had so much time. So it kind of made sense that Arsenal won that game convincingly. But it has given Arsenal fans a sense of expectation when the season started that they were going to be good this year.
Yeah.
And I wasn't 100% convinced that it was going to roll over into the season beginning. I wasn't convinced. Like Dave just said, "Don't talk about Barcelona until get back."
Oh, believe me, Dave. I've got an entire thing to get through.
I had to stop Eddie from ranting about it before we started recording, so we'll get to that. Don't worry. So back to the Arsenal. So I wasn't convinced pre-season. I thought they played well, but I wasn't convinced. I wanted to see how they did against a proper team, playing, actually attacking them and having a go at them. And they did all right. Because last year, if they'd have played Palace away, they got thumped 3-0. They would have struggled. So they kind of were in front in this game, and Palace were coming back at them, but they just held on. They defended properly. The keeper had a bit of a wobble, but like in general, they did pretty well at the back. Thought Saliba was really good. Gabriel Jesus has come in, and he's given them not only a focal point for the attack, but also he can switch with the other players in the front. So you're never quite sure where the threat is coming from. He's great running with the ball as well, so that gives them a three-pronged like forward attack with Saka one side and Martinelli on the other, where they're going to pick the ball, run at defenders, and cause havoc.
I think also when they run each, it's like if the ball gets displaced, I think with Gabriel Jesus, you're going to have someone who's going to try and run and get it back. And it kind of gives you that urge. He's not like, he's a creator of goals and can also score, which I think is what they've needed. Because obviously with, the kind of the two horse of kind of Obama and Lacazette, I don't know, it just didn't always seem to work. And I think maybe they were just kind of, you couldn't play both of them together for so long and get a massive amount of success.
It does feel like Jesus is like they've brought in a winner to go in the middle of all these kids that they've got. So they brought him and they brought Zinchenko as well.
Yeah, they brought two winners in to basically tell them, listen, we've been in this experience, we've been at this level, we've won a league. This is what you guys need to be at the performance of for us to get to this level.
Plus, with Arteta basically playing Guardiola's style of play, they can just plug them straight into that. They know exactly what they're doing. They don't need to be told. They've already had that drummed into them by Pep. So it was really easy to just get them to mesh.
I think Zinchenko as well is a great signing, a really, really good signing. It's quite.
I'm just going to reply to Damien because he said Bundesliga match day 1 roundup. The roundup is the league's over already. Congratulations to Bayern on yet another trophy. Well done, lads. See you again next year.
Well done, Sadio Mane, for your top goal scorer achievement already. Because they were when you saw that score, it was like that's the Europa League champions getting absolutely battered by Bayern. I think Dortmund played Leverkusen, but I can't remember what the score was in that. But yeah, there was a. Yeah, well, I think it was 1-0 Dortmund. So I mean, yeah, it just looks it sounds bad, but it just obviously is a league that looks like one team is going to run away with it. But yeah,
and PSG did the same thing as well. So like PSG was not 5-0 away on the first day of the season.
Yeah, Mbappe
wasn't even playing.
Mbappe had the new part owner, part coach, part footballer striker. Mbappe had a day off because he just couldn't be bothered. And yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo's sister got really angry that everyone was lauding an overhead kick goal by Messi, and then had posted a picture on Instagram comparing the both of them. And then basically being really mad again. So yeah, that's your League Un and Bundesliga update.
Those two leagues are both over, so we can forget about them for the rest of the season.
We will, if something happens, we will come back to them. I promise you. But they're boring. Arsenal. So yeah, Zinchenko I think is a great signing for them. He really seems to be happy to be there. Saliba finally being unleashed after 2 loan spells.
Yeah, I can kind of understand that a little bit because they signed him. He was very talented, but he was a little bit raw. So they sent him out, got him the experience, and he must have felt, right, he's ready now. Had a really good season last year, and he's come back and he's just slotted in there. Looks great. He's a great player. He's not 20, 21?
Yeah, Arsenal look good. It's just a case of consistency.
I think the difference between, like I said, when I first started talking about the game, the difference between this Arsenal and the one of last year is they didn't look like they were going to bottle this.
Yeah.
Whereas I always got the feeling last year with Arsenal, anytime they're in front, there's a risk. There's a chance. The other team are going to be up for it because it's like, oh, they're going to throw this away. We got a shot at this. I didn't feel that so much. They defended really well.
I think they're a little bit, Fabio Vieira has been signed for quite a lot of money. Marquinhos and Matt Turner are probably not going to play that much. I think the only thing they kind of lack is, because obviously if Jesus comes off, then you've got Eddie Nketiah. I don't think Nketiah is good enough. I think their bench is a little bit weaker than most. But I think it's the beginnings of Arteta maybe finally coming to the forefront, because obviously he's been there for 3 years now, 2 years now. This is his third season as manager. It's make or break in essence. It is ironically now all or nothing.
Yeah, it's a year late. And I still persist. Last year they should have followed Everton, not Arsenal. They'd have had a cracking season last year. Amazon, if they'd have followed Everton around, that was an unbelievable season.
Speaking of Everton, Palace were all right. There wasn't really anything that great. Speaking of Everton, congratulations on the breaking news of signing signing Connor Cody from Wolves on a season-long loan.
They had to get a centre back, because first game of the season, playing with 3 central defenders, Ben Godfrey's broke his leg. When the ball had gone out of play and like the linesman missed it and they played on and he broke his leg. Great, thanks for that. Yerry Mina, who at this point, I don't think he's had 2 games in a row where he hasn't been injured for a year. So he's injured again. So who do you play at the back? They needed to get somebody else in. It was desperate. Unless you want Michael Keane to play a pivotal role in defence, and they've loaned Branthwaite out as well, who I thought was pretty decent. But
your back 4 is now going to be Nathan Patterson.
Yeah, I think he's probably a 5. So Patterson and Mickey Lentils on either side, and then there's the 3 with Tarkowski. I keep saying Tarkowski, and whoever isn't injured either side of him. So it's Cody
and big Liverpool fan Connor Cody.
But yeah, they screwed that up. Like right in the first week of the season.
I think you're just I think you've maybe signed at the wrong end of the pitch, maybe.
But they had to. They literally had to, because like who else are you going to play at the back line then? But yeah, at the front end they haven't got anyone. And I think what really cheesed me off about this, DCL getting injured was not a surprise, but is the fact that they sold Richarlison. They knew he was going ages ago, and once again, it's like, where's the replacement? Where's the player who's going to come in and do that? They signed Dwight McNeil. Hang on, I just need a moment.
You sold Richarlison, and instead of thinking, okay, we need to bring someone in for that Richarlison money, you went, Dwight McNeil looks quite nice.
No, it said nobody ever. But then I think this could have been the year for Ellis Sims. Ellis Sims is like Calvert-Lewin's understudy. And he could have had a shot, I think, this year of playing. But instead, they've loaned him out to Sunderland. He scored 2 goals in his first game.
Yeah, he had a decent spell up at Hibs, up at Hearts, and then made the decision.
Really good player, decent movement.
I believe you signed Amadou Onana. Is that a deal that's...
yeah, that's gone through. He was actually at the game, and apparently he didn't look very happy. Imagine going like, oh, this is what I've signed for. Oh, okay. And Idrissa Gueye is apparently coming back.
60 million gone, and 56 million of that has probably gone towards Onana and Dwight McNeil.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's injured. Solomon Rondon is waiting on the bench to get a game.
He's not going to get a game. He's washed.
Cenk Tosun's gone.
Good.
It's not looking good for Everton. This might be the year.
The only good thing about Everton is at least they looked all right at the back, which last season they were terrible at the back. Yeah. Mainly because it was Michael Keane and Mina was injured, so it was Michael Keane plus whoever they had. and
Mhm.
it was just a procession of just terrible defensive pairings. Him and Holgate had a spell where they were playing together all the time, but they were both on the worst form of their careers. So that was fun to watch. So at least having Tarkowski in the middle there, like he looks like he's played for Everton for 10 years in one game. So that is, if I'm looking for some positives here, a singular positive is at least they didn't look that bad at the back.
Yeah, a tiny minute positive. Speaking of teams that maybe didn't look good at the back, let's talk about the promoted teams. One of them looked pretty decent.
Yeah,
at the back, still needs a little bit of fixing, and that's Fulham. Signing Issa Diop from West Ham might be helping that.
Fulham have had an incredible transfer window, kind of on the sly.
Yeah, but Tony Khan is not a good owner of this football team. And even though he was happy that his team got a 2-2 result, and he tweeted up about it, and someone went, "No thanks to your management of this club, pal." Tony Khan can do nothing right. But they did, they signed, Mitrovic. Is this the year that Mitrovic finally becomes
I think he
more than just 6 goals?
He scored the same number of goals in this game that he scored the last time Fulham were in the Premier League. So that's that's a good start. No, he looked lively. He looked up for it. They all did. The way that they were playing was fun. They were out there thinking, we've got nothing to lose here because everyone's expecting us to get pasted. It's Liverpool, and they just went and had a go at them.
Yeah,
it was really great.
I mean, if we let's look at the signings. So Palanaha from Sporting seemed like a great signing. He seemed really up for it.
Very good play.
Everyone's favourite Manchester United man, Andres Pereira, actually looked quite good. Mbabu wasn't even in the squad. Bernd Leno is a good signing. Yes, he was on the bench. Bernd Leno is a good signing. He will do quite well in that lineup.
When you listed the players off, they've had a crafty good window. Like, I didn't even notice how good the window was until the preview for the game against Liverpool. They started to list the players they brought in, and I'm like, well, actually, that's a really good transfer window. And it reflected on the pitch. Marco Silva's got him out there playing like really aggressive football.
They didn't give Salah didn't get a single break.
No, he wasn't in the game. Salah wasn't in the game at all, and he got a goal out of nothing. But they marked him out of the game. I don't know what Klopp was doing picking Firmino from the start. I think he's finished.
I don't think Firmino's finished, but I think Núñez is the more should be option, or he should be starting in that lineup.
Yeah.
Ivan putting up a comment there that I can see. Yes, he has been, and he's a silly boy, but I think Dave is just moody as always. And if you don't know who we're referring to, he's on another site where you can subscribe to his Observer, where he once celebrated that Liverpool lost to Tony Khan's Fulham. So, yeah, enough about that. I think Núñez should be starting ahead of Firmino. I think Firmino still has a part to play on the bench. I just don't think he's no longer the right starter for them.
He's not a star. I personally, I think he's finished.
Núñez came on and the game changed. And he did bring a lot more excitement into that squad.
His runs were really good. The great thing about Núñez is that he gets into the positions. He's going to miss chances, but he gets into the positions. He's going to get a lot of goals.
Yeah,
irritatingly so. Also, I thought Luis Diaz played really well.
Yeah.
So it's not all doom and gloom for Liverpool, but they didn't start very well.
No,
and they didn't really look that up for it, which I thought it was pretty funny, to be honest. I was enjoying myself.
The penalty was a penalty. The one.
Oh yeah, totally. He played it past him. He stuck a lazy leg out of Van Dijk.
Knee clashes, and Mitrovic goes down. I agree that I don't think I think the Henderson incident that happened in the build up to the first goal doesn't change anything because he steps
No,
on his foot but
because
doesn't
I mean,
realise
if
it.
he's it's not really a deliberate foul in any way. But then if Henderson is up and on his feet, does that make any difference to where the ball went and how the goal went in?
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
you could have been in a better position to yell at Trent Alexander-Arnold that he was a shit defender. But apart from that, like, I don't think he makes any difference to that. So.
That defense was completely not awake. It
He
was
doesn't. He sleeps.
wild.
He sleeps defensively. Trent does. He's rotten
Yeah.
at defending.
So Fulham, they look like they could be a surprise package. Again, it just depends on
Did not see that coming.
Forest.
I tipped Forest. I was like, I think Forest will stay up, and I was putting that down to I think Steve Cooper's a really good manager. But what I hadn't really thought too much about is the amount of players that had to churn from the season last year to coming up because they had so many loan players and they had so many players that they had to bring in to get them up to the Premier League like bottom line standard. They had to do a lot of business in the transfer window, and I think they've brought some very good players in. Niakate especially, I think he's a really good signing defensively. They're going to need quality players who are good on the ball. They did look disjointed though, and it's going to take a little while for them to gel as a team. Yeah. And it's time they don't really have.
I think they don't have anyone in the strike force there who, or the strikers who appeals to me and goes, oh wow. I think them losing Jed Spence and him going back on loan, him going back from his loan spell. I think also losing out on Bryce Samba as well, who was the goalie. A major part of that
they did bring squad. In Taiwo Awaniyi from Union Berlin, though. He scored a lot of goals last year.
I know, but your name just doesn't scream out to me. I mean, there's just not really anyone there's not really anyone in that squad that looks like, oh wow, I'm going to take a step back and go. I mean, even Dean Henderson's had he's been moaning about the fact he's no longer at Man United, complaining that the club made him false promises. But then it's like, you've had your chance. You weren't able to do anything much. You've now went on loan to Nottingham Forest and you've let in 2 goals to begin with. Hello. Yes, we mentioned it. We mentioned that Agent Cody has signed.
The Everton bit.
Agent Cody has signed for Everton. Whether his Liverpool fanness will be there is another thing. I want to go back just to Ivan's comment quickly. He's right. I saw Thiago getting injured. Apparently, Klopp is of the mindset they don't need to improve the midfield, which I think is a lot of rubbish. Because Thiago just looked out of it. The majority of their midfielders are aging. If we look at it, really,
loving it.
There's just
this is the season where Liverpool completely collapse.
Chamberlain's injured.
A delight.
Chamberlain's injured. Henderson's 32. Milner's 36. Thiago consistently has some kind of injury with him. I don't really think Fabinho's that great. Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones look like prospects. But Galaxy Giga's great signing, exactly what they needed up front. Connor Cody's going to be up in the attack force, mate. But
he's going to get on the end of crosses. It'll be fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So back to Forest. Forest, I don't know. They just don't look good enough to me. I think it's going to be difficult. They may have to take a couple of time. Newcastle are a great defensive team coming into the end of last season. They've added Sven Botman, who didn't start, but they've still got Fabian Schär and Dan Burn and Trippier. And this Eddie Howe Newcastle side is, and as much as it pains me about where all the things come from, they're a good side.
They're efficient.
Yes, they're efficient.
They do have a little bit of flair on the with like Alanson Maximin and
Gomarish.
and
Almiron and Gomarish. They've got a good steam. I think Botman. I mean, I'm annoyed because I had Botman in my fantasy lineup and he didn't come on because they went with Byrne and Shar. But yeah, I think it's Newcastle are going to have a good season, but Nottingham Forest had a difficult task.
I'm kind of surprised that Newcastle didn't spunk a load of money on stupid players.
Because I think Howe's got it. I think Howe and the management have an idea of not doing that. Sounds silly, but if you just bring in,
I thought they'd be in for all the players that were moving this summer. They'd be in with last-second offers like, "Oh, Richarlison, let's get him." You know, I thought that's the kind of crazy.
They need to have. They need to have another season or two. They need to have credibility behind them. Money is everything, yes, for these players, but I think some of them will look at it and go, "We need credibility. We need to know that this team is going to be making one of the European competitions for us to seriously consider going to them." I think this is what this season is about for Newcastle. I think it is credibility. I think them not signing Ikiti was a bit of a blow, given the fact that he's now gone to PSG. But that's the thing; they are going to lose out to players. They're going to lose out on players if these other clubs come in and people look at it and go, right, I can go play Champions League football potentially for PSG, or I can go to Newcastle. And that's not a slight on Newcastle, but it's the way at the moment it's going to be. I mean, look who they signed. They signed Nick Pope, a great goalkeeper. Sven Botman, Matt Targett. Eddie Howe just
Sven
seems
Botman was really the only sexy money football signing, wasn't he? He was just we can get Sven Botman. All right then.
Let's bring in free signings who are going to help improve the club, rather than let's sign a whole new bunch of players and have to kind of reintegrate everyone again.
It is shockingly sensible. I thought they'd have wanted a marquee signing, but
stupidly sensible. But yeah.
I wanted madness at that club, Eddie. I wanted absolute madness.
Oh, believe me, Galaxy. We're just hold on. If you stay for a little bit, there's going to be an entire Barcelona segment. Dave's also waiting for it as well. We will get to it as quickly as possible. Yes. So, Bournemouth slapped about Steven Gerrard's Aston Villa.
I see Blue Kelly was listening to me earlier when I said that Michael Keane was useless, but there you go. Tarkowski, he was brilliant. I thought he looked great first game. And Cody's a solid player.
The bad thing is always when you sign the defenders from a team that's been relegated, but you think, I'll be fine.
Yeah,
it wasn't always the case. Mainly that was Sean
Dwight
Dyche.
McNeil. That's a problem because it was partially Dwight McNeil's fault that Burnley went down because they bottled so many chances because he's shit.
Yep, exactly.
But yeah, let's carry on.
Right, so Bournemouth slapped about Aston Villa. Looked pretty decent.
I thought that was very funny.
Aston Villa, they signed Diego Carlos. They've done quite a lot, but I think they're still obviously
one of my things that I want to happen this year, realistically. Liverpool to not come anywhere near the league title or any other trophy. Steven Gerrard fired by Christmas.
I will take my
I have
bet.
To take what I can get.
I know. I'm going to go for, and I'm going to say this, and one of our friends is going to be very happy. I'm going to say this: Kiefer Moore, Ballon d'Or. I think it was quite a surprise to see him score. He might obviously be. This is again another level that Kiefer Moore might do well at. Which is a bit shocking. But Bournemouth, I think we both in the prediction were not very high on them.
We didn't even talk about Bournemouth.
Well, the positive sign of that is there's no clips that are gonna be showing up anywhere of us saying, "Oh, we think Bournemouth are gonna get relegated." So it's all good. Right. Let's move on. Bournemouth potentially, they've done, a good start. Let's see how it goes. Let's quickly talk about potential title challengers Tottenham Hotspur, 4-1. They went 1-0 down.
As if that's a sentence we can say in 2022.
Antonio Conte, mate. Antonio Conte.
Yeah.
Look at that squad. Look at that squad. It's a quality squad.
Yeah.
It's not like they've even they bought in backups for the backups.
Yeah.
Jed Spence is not going to play games too much. Perisic, even the funny thing is the first goals that were scored in that game were by players who, Sessegnon and Dyer scoring. An own goal from Salisu and Kulievski, who at the moment is, if we take out a big Norwegian man, and an Egyptian, is probably one of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
And obviously
I was saying this last year. I was saying that I thought Kulievski was an elite signing for them, that they got themselves a player who could genuinely be a next level elite game changing player on the level of, maybe not up at the Ronaldo Messi kind of level, but at the Salah level that's just underneath that. So we're talking proper world class baller, and he's only just getting started. And that first game against Southampton, I thought he looked fantastic.
I think the signing of Perisic is a great signing. I think.
That is an interesting top four. I don't think Arsenal have got anywhere near the depth of Tottenham. We were talking about Arsenal earlier on.
I think their bench looks poor. That's my own opinion.
If Arsenal start getting injuries, I can't see them finishing that high up.
As I said, if Gabriel Jesus is done and your next bet is Eddie Nketiah, you need to get someone else in. Perisic looks like a good signing. I know he's not played yet, but again, we've seen the level that Perisic has played at. Bissouma from Brighton, Richarlison, Jed Spence. They've got back in obviously Kulievski, Romero, and Langley. If you look at their squad,
casually borrowed the Langley off Barcelona like it's nothing.
We're getting to it.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it is the Conte factor. Look, he's a winner. He's a winner, and he's turning Tottenham into a team full of winners, which is it's disgusting to be honest.
I don't think there's a place that he has. Again, I could be completely wrong. He won Serie B with Bari. He won the Serie A 3 times with Juventus, Premier League with Chelsea, and Inter Milan. He won Serie A. So I'm pretty sure everywhere he has mainly managed, other than maybe short spells at Atalanta, Siena, and Italy, he has done quite successfully well.
The only thing with Conte is he may just blow up and have a massive falling out with the board because, if you had to talk to Daniel Levy on a daily basis, I think eventually you would probably start yelling at him. But yeah, I think if they can keep him there, I think Conte's going to win him a title.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think it's going to be this year, but you bed them players into what they've already got, add a bit more next season. I think they've got a shot.
He needs a little bit of time. He always normally needs about a season or two.
Yeah.
Before he does well.
The thing is, worrying. It's very worrying. His contract's up.
He's got an 18-month contract with an option of a further year. So we'll see what happens.
So there is always the worry that he's just going to go, right, I've had enough of this. But then you look at the squad that he's got. He's got a better squad now than he had at Inter Milan.
Yeah.
And Inter Milan, he won the league. They hadn't won the league in 10 years?
It'd been a while. And I think he, that Inter squad basically went for an all or nothing kind of thing and then won the league. And then after it was like, right, we're going to dismantle this.
Yeah,
and then they were like, no, we shouldn't have dismantled it. Come back, Lukaku.
They all right last year. They got Lukaku back. That'd be fun.
Yeah. So we move on to let's talk about a funny subject. Let's talk about Man United and let's talk about Man City. So City won 2-0 West Ham. Erling Haaland decided that the Charity Shield doesn't matter and it's for friendly, and decided to actually show up. Got a great second goal. The penalty was quite cool, calm and collected, and he won it. What did you think of Man City, Arn?
Man City, good as always. I said they were going to win the league pre-season. When they signed Haaland, I did hear people saying they were worried that Haaland wouldn't get the chances to score Haaland goals. So that second goal that he scored,
Haaland goal.
That's a Haaland goal. So the idea is that he can take on defences and beat the offside trap and then slot it past the keeper as the keeper's coming out, and he looks good doing it. If teams have to come up Man City, he will get those chances. And even if he doesn't, he's still going to score. Yeah. So he's going to score 30 goals this season, maybe more. I think Golden Boot is a distinct possibility. The Man City team have not had a focal striker since Aguero was in his prime and before he got injury prone towards the end of his career. Yeah. And even then, Aguero was a poacher. Like he'd sniff around and get the chances and get the goals. Yeah. Haaland is a far better rounded player. He's going to do bits.
Yep. I said they're going to go far. Right, let's get to them. What a shower of embarrassment. Manchester United, everybody.
This
currently going to be the new
funniest game of the weekend. I didn't think it was going to be this funny, but it was hilarious to watch the hopeful 60-odd thousand Man United fans going to Old Trafford going, this is a new era under Eric Ten Hag. Oh, Fred and McTominay in centre midfield.
Malacia on the bench.
Playing.
Malacia on
They've got those strikers. And
Ronaldo on the bench. The game finishes, and you hear the rumours of, they've put in a bid for Marko Arnautovic. And then today, Man United have been in talks and have been in agreement with Adrian Rabiot and his mum, who's his agent.
That's like we can't get Frankie de Jong, who's one of the best midfield players in the world. Let's get Adrian Rabiot instead.
Oh no! And the funny thing is, so they were interested in that Benjamin Sesko from Red Bull Salzburg.
Yeah.
Because they've clearly enjoyed watching football. They've clearly someone in there is a huge FM22 mark. So they couldn't get him because he's now apparently away to Leipzig. Obviously, who could have seen that coming?
That's a big Leipzig move. That is, if they do get Šeško.
And now they've decided, okay, who can we get? Let's go and get 33-year-old Marko Arnautovic.
What they've got here, Eddie, is they have ended up with everybody as outcasts because they spent the whole season trying to buy a player who didn't want to play for them. Like Frankie de Jong went out publicly and said, I don't want to play for Manchester United 4 months ago. And they've still chased him for the entire summer, still couldn't get him. So now it's like, what do we do? It's like going to the beer festival on the Sunday night. And it's like all they've got left is like some manky lager that nobody else wanted to touch. That's Man United.
They did this with Fabregas.
Everything's run out.
They did this years ago with Fabregas, and they didn't get Fabregas, and they brought in Fellaini. Honestly.
They can have Andre Gomez.
I don't think they want Michael Keane back.
No, nobody wants him.
I don't think anyone wants him. But this is just it. Right? It's difficult because they've had such a turnover of people. Like they got rid of Lingard, they got rid of Mata, Matic left, Paul Pogba left, Pereira left, Dylan Levitt left. Just had to get that one in there. Thank you for the free. Take care of that 300k. You just think to yourself, that Ivan gets the good point. Who are they gonna get? Ronaldo, there's all the rumours and all the rumblings. Ronaldo doesn't want to be here. People going, oh, you should just let Ronaldo go. Like, okay, But then again, Caicedo, who played for Brighton, he was apparently linked with Man United, but they decided against it. United decided against it. And look what happened. Look at the performance he played. There's if someone can name me, and Galaxy Giggles says they're Jamie Vardy. I mean, that would be. I don't think that may happen, but it would be funny if it did. I genuinely cannot. I'm trying to think of strikers. Look at the strikers that they have signed, right? Falcao, Igalo, who else? Cavani. All these strikers at the twilight.
Even Ibrahimovic at the back end of his career when he went there, he looked finished, and then he went and played great afterwards. But they are just signing.
They're signing all these strikers at the twilights of their careers. They've not signed. They don't have a young striker. Martial, he's either just not been rated or not been liked.
Ivan, there, nobody is that dumb.
Mm.
Nobody's as dumb as United. Nobody's going to stump up the £26 million a year that is the cost of Ronaldo's wages.
You saw Atletico fans reacting to the fact that their team might sign Ronaldo, and they were not happy with it.
The club said it's impossible. That could not happen.
There's only one team that could sign him, or only one kind of area of the world where probably they want to sign him, and it's not where he really wants to go.
They can actually afford him. It's Chelsea, isn't it?
I mean, Saudi Arabia, any team in Saudi Arabia in that area could probably sign him if they wanted to, but he's not going to get Champions League football. And that's what he wants. He wants to still be playing competitive football and showing that he's got it. So instead, he's just going to have to enjoy being on the Man United bench. They've got 3 weeks. They've got to the 31st of August to sign people. De Jong, they might as well just give up.
I think they're giving up on De Jong. But in giving up in De Jong, they're going to end up with Rabiot. Rabiot isn't better than the players that they've got.
Go sign Ruben Neves.
Yeah, but Ruben Neves, they put did they put a bid in for Neves? I can't remember though. They put a bid in for someone who's got knocked back straight away.
They are paying 15 million for Rabiot. They are negotiating with his mum. He's not even that. What? When has any team went? I can tell you, we could do with Rabiot.
Rabiot is a bystander. He turns up where money is, and he just kind of stands around near it. That's all he does.
They should go sign Icardi. They need a striker. Go get Mario Icardi. Bring in Wandanara. Let's have
You just want the Wonder Show. That's what.
Signing these two, and the baggage that they bring along when Ten Hag is probably trying to, kind of steady the sails is just so stupid, but so funny at the same time.
I did hear that Man United, right? They were worried. They're extremely worried about player morale. So they've took all the lads out on a day out. They're going to go to Alton Towers. Unfortunately, Lisandro Martinez isn't tall enough to get on any of the rides.
You messaged me and said you could jump Martinez, and I was well, this must be going well. It's just wild. Right.
They should probably sign Rabiot's mum.
They probably should. Neves and Tielemans. There you go. Get them in. There you go.
Yeah, probably would.
They're decent signings.
They don't want to pay. They don't want to pay over the odds.
But the thing is, and I
think I heard it because they've made a mess of the whole transfer window.
I heard already. I think if any club gets a bid from Man United, the first thing to do is to reject it because you're probably going to get more in the next time.
Jack the price up. If you thought you could get 50 million for Neves, well, United are desperate. You could probably get 65, 70 million for him.
Yeah,
he's not worth it. But what else are they going to do? Where are they going to go? It's wild. She looks like, if you search her up, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, I compared her to the character, the bad guy woman in the Goonies. That's what I think she looks like. I remember she had a go at Pogba for missing a penalty, or no, Mbappe for missing a penalty during the Euros.
She was very clearly shown having a go at his dad,
I think that's
for that.
harsh.
Oh,
But she'd be no good in the air. She's
nah,
like
I don't think she
Martin
can.
has height, really. So
Anyway, let's move on. I don't want to be seen as going at that. Right, let's quickly do
all
this
right,
one
let's let you
thing.
loose.
Right.
How do you feel about Barcelona, Eddie?
Right, it's enough. Enough is enough. How does this club keep getting away with this? How? There is points where it's just dumb. They're setting up holdings companies to try and pay off debts. They cannot register these players, but they're signing them. They've given away their TV rights for the next 25 years.
Not
They
all
have to
of them.
pay.
They've sold some of their TV rights for the next 25 years.
They have to pay 37.5 million in taxes because of them setting up this holding company and trying to get away with it.
When did they try to set up a holding company and then sell it
to the La Liga? They sell it to themselves, yes, or something like that. It's still dumb.
And then declare the sale as a profit, right? It's 150 million profit.
Yes.
That was dumb.
This club needs to stop. There's court proceedings apparently going on with Frankie de Jong because they believe that when de Jong's contract was made, there was criminality involved.
There probably was, but it was on their side.
It was definitely on their side. I'm not sure. There's not much of a discussion about who can actually be registered, but
yeah, it went a bit quiet after they said they couldn't.
I was severely annoyed and physically sick when they announced that they signed Lewandowski and Koundé. Now I support the other evil, right? As people would see it. I support Real Madrid, who openly are admitting themselves to be an evil club, right? But they're not messing around on this level. They're not buying players who they can't afford. And that, I think, and this club is taking other clubs and going, oh, Leeds, we want Rafinha, but we promise we'll pay you. Right, okay. If Leeds don't get paid, then, this is just going to even be more of a mess. And La Liga know that this is they need to keep Barcelona alive because a healthy Barcelona is, going to keep their league alive. Yes, I did read the Athletics article on Barcelona, Dave. It's another reason why I'm at the point where I've had it. I've had it. I'm doing my best not to swear at this point. But it's difficult. No, it's fine. There's rumors that Messi's going to potentially come back at some point soon. PSG are trying to hold off on that. Piqué has recently just announced that he's taken, or I think Piqué's been one of the first players to be a simp for Barcelona and agree to take a pay cut. He's taken a pay cut. He's a simp. He loves the club. He's a simp for Barcelona. It is not, if that's how you want to be, then that's fine. You've agreed to lower your salary. You're one of the first players to agree to lower your salary. And that's from Jamesy, who said he was a simp, and I completely agree. He is. He wants to be the president of Barcelona at one point. But, he's, that's what they are. They're going to have to get rid of players, as we were talking about, either Aubameyang or Depay is leaving. I'd probably more likely say Depay since Aubameyang only just came in last season. They're just, they're paying, they're spending they're spending money that they don't have or that they do have, but they've done very sneaky ways of getting said money. She's apparently getting done for tax fraud as well. So, they'll be locked up beside each other. Barcelona, everyone.
Yeah, I'm personally outraged that Martin Braithwaite won't just quit and leave. a club that paid him and signed him and told them he was going to be a player there.
Yeah, I mean, look at the players like Musa Wag and Ricky Puig have both left. Ricky Puig is 22 and he's now playing in the MLS. I know, as you've said, apparently he's down here Wikipedia height wise is 5'7". You said
Lies.
You said he's about 4'2".
4'2".
But yeah, it's just ridiculous. And this club does everything it can to irritate me to no end. And every time that an article comes out and I have a good laugh at Barcelona, 2 days later they go and announce, oh, we're going to sign Lewandowski. Oh, we're going to sign Jules Koundé. And I just hate them even more again. I think I said it in our thing. They just can't keep getting away with this. But they do.
It is staggering financial mismanagement. I don't know how they're getting away with it. The idea, because you understand the salary, the way the salary cap works, it's not a set figure. It's it's like a percentage of what the club can earn. But then you can offset it by selling stuff to kind of go like, well, there's money coming in, so money can go out. And it's like, it's balancing. So the way that they're doing that is by selling like future percentages of things. I think it's 10% of their TV money they sold for like 20 years for like 100 and something million. And that way they can try and get it level so that they can then spend the money on Lewandowski. And they're going to get the money back eventually because it's Barcelona. They were raking cash in before the pandemic started. It's only really COVID that has ruined what had been a steady uptick, and it was like this. The graph of their financials was like bang, it was going straight the way up.
Yeah.
Until COVID, and all of a sudden, all that revenue they were getting from match days because they've got such a huge stadium, it just went completely, and it didn't just like peter off a little bit. It was just bang gone, and all of a sudden they're like 500 million in the hole.
People just see this club as the people's club. I just think they're tax dodging, trying to survive on too many things and basically cutting so many corners because they've fallen behind since Messi left. They have very much, they've done everything they can to try and get rid of players where need be. But they're now going about it in a way that just screams absolutely disgusting. Oh, hello, Frankie de Jong. Here's a contract. Oh, we need to get rid of you now. Oh, hi. We're going to take legal action against you because we found criminality in the contract that we gave you. What?
Yeah. It's like, we broke the law at the time, but now we need to bring it to everyone's attention so that the player can be paid less. Or something.
And we want you to renege on that contract and go back to the other one we gave you. And if you say no, then you're probably not going to get played. It's like, that's just...
What is going to happen is...
Wait, they might not, because they might not register him.
If you don't sign this new contract, we'll sell you to Man United. And Frankie de Jong's gone, oh, shit.
I need to go to Chelsea, because that's apparently where he wants to go now instead. Dave, don't give that money. Do not give that club money. They don't need it. They do need it.
Go and watch Messi play, because you probably won't get another chance.
Yeah,
he's going to be around much longer. Go and watch Messi play. I will accept anyone going to PSG to give money to that club because they want to see Messi play before he retires. It is fine. It is acceptable.
He's going to end up going back to Barcelona.
Yeah,
that's going to be, and even then, that technically is a retirement for me. They've got rid of
Barcelona's big problem in the middle of all this financial crisis that they've got is they need to maintain their status as a footballing power. Mm-hmm. So they need to be seen to be capable of signing players like Lewandowski and retaining players like Frankie de Jong. Mm-hmm. Especially after they left Messi. That's what did it, is they lost Messi last year, and then it's like, and everything that they've done since has been from that sense of absolute panic. That's too bad. That's too bad.
Ivan, I don't know why Barca didn't decide to eat shit, so to speak, and accept top 4 finishes instead of going out paying for Ferran Torres or short-sighted business. Look at the players they signed. If you get down to the nitty-gritty of it, Aguero being signed was an unfortunate thing, but then they dined out on the insurance money. Eric Garcia, okay. Emerson Royal, now gone, I believe. Back. Is he yeah. Emerson Royal signed for 9 million, then went back, now he's playing at Tottenham for 25.8 million. So they made a little bit of a profit on that. Well done. You scumbags. And Memphis Depay is probably getting sold. He's only been there since July of 2021. Alves is gone. He was really just a Xavi signing to try and, boost morale. Ferran Torres, Aubameyang. Okay, well done. You signed Aubameyang. Aubameyang could potentially now be out the door. Signing a player in July 2021 and then selling him in August of 2021 for 25 million when you signed him for 9 million. It is big galaxy brain stuff, but also then it's Barcelona.
Moneyball.
Getting rid of some B team players and stuff like that. Well done. But no. This club just annoys me.
They sold Coutinho for 20 million.
Yes.
How much did they pay for it?
170 or something.
One of these is bigger than the other.
I can't even laugh because 105 rising up to 142. Still, absolutely hilarious. What they deserved, especially when Coutinho went on loan to Bayern and helped them. I think he played against them.
Yeah, he played against them. They won 8-2, yeah.
Yeah,
he played in that game. He scored.
Even absolutely hilarious. I laughed. Real Madrid, champions of Europe with a team that no one would give a chance to. I mean, if you're honest, if you look at that Real Madrid team, Benzema and Vinicius stand out, and also Modric. And there were some players that stand out, so I'm sorry. I'm not, looking, look at Real Madrid, the poor little guys, because they did win the league and La Liga. But they, as we said before we went on air, they do not spend out their means. They don't go and try and buy players and then go, okay, we need you to renege on this contract. Whereas Barcelona are an absolute disgrace. And I genuinely wish they would die as a football club. But they're not going to die.
No, of course they won't.
Because they're Barcelona and everyone go, look at us, Barcelona. No, they just need to die.
I wanted Liverpool to die as a football club for, when's Heysel? 87. So quite a long time, like 30-odd years. I've wanted them to absolutely die as a football club. And they keep coming back like a proverbial bad penny. And it is the way with the big clubs, the really big clubs. You can never get rid of them, sadly.
They just annoy me to no end. And the fact that they can go out and go, look at this, look at what we're doing financially. You think, we're doing wrong? Yep, we're doing absolutely wrong. But we're still allowed to get away with it, so hey-ho. And La Liga are just as much criminal to blame if they consistently let this happen. But as I said, they need a strong Barcelona and they need a strong Real Madrid. So they're just going to let it go by. And as people have been saying, and even though we keep laughing at it, they're going to be able to register these players. We laugh at it now because we think, ha 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 ha. These players will end up playing at the Spotify Nou Camp. Oh. Spotify Nou Camp. Look, we've got to deal with Rakuten and now we've got to deal with Spotify. So let's have Spotify in the name of our prestigious stadium that looks like a pile of shite. I don't, honestly. And Laporte's in there now. And I even laughed when they tried to fire Koeman, but he didn't have enough money to pay him off. So that idiot, I think, took a cut to go and leave because he knew it wasn't going right. Or I think partly he wanted to stay.
He just wanted to get out, I think, by the end.
Yeah, he was just tired. The club and the managers. And, who do we bring in to replace Koeman? Let's bring in Xavi. Then let's give him Dani Alves.
I feel like you're running out of steam here, Eddie. I think
we're almost done. Yeah. In other news, Dundee United played well against AZ Alkmaar in the Europa Conference League, 1-0. I really don't have much to comment on that. They played well. Dylan Levitt's a great signing from Man United. Thank you very much for the 300k.
Great play.
Are we going to get scalped when it comes down to the away leg? Potentially.
I hope you don't.
I hope we don't too. Ian Crocker and some other bullshit con artists were complaining about fans getting on the pitch and pyro. Pyro is a bit of a problem.
No, it isn't.
When it stops the game, it's a problem. You can do it outside and then leave it. That's fine with me.
The absolute best image from the entire of last season was Richarlison picked up that pyro when he was running around with that smoke bomb.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Let me tell you the story about an arsehole Scottish striker named Lee Griffiths who kicked a pyro into the crowd. Yeah.
They're just bellends, aren't they?
He's just a bellend in general. You might as well call them Spotify Barcelona FC because they have no soul anymore. They've sold everything. Would not be surprised if the seats were sponsored by Twitch TV sponsors this seat. They're just and yes, they do. This is what they do. Sorry, I'm back on again because Dave's made a good point at Ivan there. This is what they do. Oh, come and play for us. 9 times out of 10 when they sign these players, it's all about, I had a dream to play for Barcelona. That's how they get them in. They don't pay them right. Seat sponsored by Joe Rogan, Ivan says. Seat sponsored by Blue Chew, by every single sponsor that Chris Jericho's podcast has. Tomahawk Steaks, Omaha Steaks. Yeah, they're awful. We'll go into a bit more conversation next time about the pyro debate. Dundee United have done well in Europe.
Pyro's cool.
I think pyro has its moments.
I think it should be like.
Look
at all those European games where you have the nutters in the crowd waving the smoke bombs around. Brilliant.
The Everton game against was it Chelsea, where they basically had Brentford, where they had the crowd all hyped out outside.
Yes,
I think
more.
Yes. So there's other games that we could have covered, but to be fair, not really anything was there that was cared about. Rangers lost to a unionist team in Belgium. That's quite funny to me. Will Rangers probably overturn that gap tomorrow? Probably they will. In my heart, I don't want them to.
I think it's kind of embarrassing the amount of people I saw on Twitter going, Rangers lost to a team I've never heard of. They've won the 3rd largest number of Belgian titles of any team, any team in Belgium.
I mean, that's another. That Galaxy giggles is right. See those times where Max Verstappen just gets, there's I think there was it Austria, one of the recent ones, and there was just Dutch orange pyro going off.
Oh, that you couldn't even see. The whole stand was just covered in that's the shit. That's what we want. That's what we need to make football better.
There has been some F1. You want me to sum up the F1? Ferrari don't know how to do anything right, really.
I wouldn't trust Ferrari to service my car.
Yeah, they're awful. They don't seem to have a plan. It's quite funny, but Max Verstappen just slowly goes along and Mercedes decide to become quite decent, which I'm not very happy with. But that's just because I hate George Russell.
I hate George. I hate him.
Yeah, I think we're going to turn off a lot of people if we say we're an anti-George Russell podcast in terms of the Formula One.
I hate him.
Yeah, I don't like him at all.
Bring back Bottas.
Braithwaite's getting. Braithwaite was apparently getting booed. For as I think I've just watched a video. I've just seen a video where it says Braithwaite has done nothing wrong, and yet this is the reception he can get. I imagine he's getting booed by these sad people who call themselves the Culés, Barcelona fans. Get a grip of yourselves, you utter morons, and stop supporting this stupid club. Yeah, I'm done with Barcelona.
So
officially done.
Barcelona shirt out for.
Don't you dare. But yeah, booed for existing. Wow. That's great stuff. And don't get me wrong, Real Madrid fans are just scummy as well for the way they treated Bale at certain points.
Yeah, they're screaming at him to get out the club, and it's like, didn't he score winning goals in 2 Champions League finals?
Yes, he did. And again, I just don't think he was favoured by Zidane, which is just typical. Well, yeah, Vieira kicking a fan in the arse was box opposite Palace when Everton finally stayed up. So yeah, all good. Right. We will be back potentially at some point soon. We're going to try and keep this going again.
It's not Monday because I'm at work next Monday, so it's probably going to be Sunday night, I think.
Yeah. Thank you all for joining us. It's been good to have a lot of people in. We've not seen Galaxy Giggles before, so thank you for coming in and being with us. Hope you tune in when we're back live and subscribe. Blue Cali, lovely to see you again as always. Aaron Ramsey has taken another victim with a goal. R.I.P.
Aaron Ramsey killed Olivia Newton-John. I can't believe it.
I cannot believe that Aaron Ramsey got away with it.
How's he getting away with it?
We were looking at a list of the if you've not seen it, find the Ramsey curse. Dave, lovely to see you as well. Find or search up on the Ramsey curse. This man is a menace to society.
He must be stopped.
Needs to stop scoring goals. Yeah, we'll take some PSG souvenirs. It's been a pleasure to speak to you all. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. R.I.P. Olivia Newton-John. Aaron Ramsey. Aaron Ramsey, you are on a watch list, sir.
How dare you?
And goodbye, Australia's Rose. I could go in a candle in the wind, but I'm too busy. Yes, he's at Nice, but he's not a nice guy because he kills people when he scores, Dave. He took Alan Rickman. And I think David Bowie. But oh, Alex Jones is a criminal. That's all to say about that. If you haven't done so already,
allegedly.
No, he's not. He's admitted it.
Okay.
He's in court.
Please enjoy our closing video where Gareth Bale scores against Liverpool and Steven Gerrard falls.
If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. It's been a pleasure. Take care. We'll see you soon. I've loved this. Bye-bye.